as you listen to the following affirmations. I take 100% responsibility for my life. I am strong and secure. I am a success. I can be. I am the only person responsible for the quality of my life and resources. I see each day as a new and positive adventure. Everything I experience today is the result of choices I've made in the past. I take charge of my life. I have unlimited personal power, and I have control over three important things in my life. I have the thoughts I think, the images I visualize, I can do anything, and the actions I take. I stand firmly in myself. It's working. How I use these three things determines everything I experience. People respect me. An exciting adventure. People love me. I am able to change negative thoughts into positive.
सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते नमोस्तुते। ओम ऐं क्लीं श्रीं हनुमते रामदूताय नमः। ओम ऐं क्लीं श्रीं हनुमते रामदूताय नमः। ओम ऐं क्लीं श्रीं हनुमते रामदूताय नमः। सिंधुतास्य शोचन्तनु पुरुषां व्रतकाल कालो काल जन गांधान निर्धान लंघन शंकुवं गुयाधान बलवान नानक करते सिया सिकत सिकत सिकत।
Wanted to sing. It's the only thing that's in my heart is singing. And what I've discovered, she said, is that I can't sit in classrooms anymore in my junior year and be told how to sing by people who are not singing. And she said, I also don't want to study theory any longer. I want to sing. I just feel it in my heart. I said, that's great. I said, I'd like to take you with me when I talk all over the country, all over the world. And I'd like you to sing for me because I'm always so proud to have her on stage with me, as you'll see why shortly. And I said to her, I said, honey, but what you got to do is perhaps put together a project, perhaps put together a CD, get some way that you can come out and sing at the talks and include on this some of the music that is relevant to what I speak about. And she said, okay. And I was over on Maui and I was writing. And she called me, she said, Dad, the problem is that the musicians that I need to be able to do this are not available. And you can't get them. And I said, Sky, you've got to contemplate yourself as surrounded by the conditions which you wish to produce. Don't think about the musicians as not being available. Contemplate yourself surrounded by the musicians, and you'll see that when you reconnect to this source will provide. It always does. It's an unfailing system. It's fail-safe. She said, all right, you're Dad the dork, you know. She called me back the next day. She said, you're not going to believe this, Dad. I did what you said last night, and all the musicians are available. I just can't believe it. She said they called the ones that I wanted, especially they had a cancellation on something. She said the only problem is that the studios that I need in order to be able to record it are unavailable. There's no studios available in any place in South Florida, and I want to get this in, and I had given her a deadline of like 4 days to get this done, an entire CD. So she called me back and she said, how do I get a studio? I said, Sky, contemplate yourself as surrounded by the conditions which you wish to produce. The law of flotation was not discovered. All right, I got it with the flotation, okay? She called me back the next morning. She said, Dad, it's a miracle. She said the studios had a cancellation, and the studio that I really need and the musicians, they're all available. I can put the whole thing together. It's so exciting. This stuff really works. I said, of course it does. She said the only problem is that it costs quite a bit of money to pay these musicians and to have the studio time. I said, Sky, honey, you've got to contemplate yourself as surrounded by the conditions which you want to produce. She said, that's why I'm calling you. And I said, but honey, I want to feel good. She said, maybe you should call Dr. Phil. She said, and this will make you feel good because you will be contemplating yourself as surrounded by a daughter who is so... She used it all right back on her. And she did it, and she got it done, and she was able to produce it. And, you know, it sounds like a silly little example, but it's like the obstacles that we have to creating what we want very often are in the ways that we perceive ourselves as disconnected here. And every thought that you have that says I can't do it is resistance to connecting to Source. And every thought that you have that says it's never worked before, that's resistance to connecting to this Source, to what is being, what I call vibrating to Source energy, getting back to you, having your desires, what you want to create in vibrational harmony with this highest energy in the universe.
Live-in relations, something that is always a complicated and touchy issue, especially in a conservative country like India where marriage is supposed to be sacrosanct. Well, it's supposed to be. Reality is quite harsh and it's changing at a rapid pace. And when, well, controversial live-in relationships comes with a controversial internet procedure, well, it's a controversy in the making. What are we talking about? Well, live-in relationships now could be just a click away. Right now in Mumbai, perhaps spreading to other cities very soon. Well, headlines today tracked down the co-founder and the designer of JustLiveIn.com. Let's listen to what Rupesh has to say.
या 16 दिन हुए हैं लॉन्च किए हुए वेबसाइट को और अब तक 200 से भी ज़्यादा प्रोफाइल रजिस्टर्ड हो चुके हैं हमारे साथ. तो मेरे ख्याल से मुझे लगता है कि ये इस प्लेटफॉर्म की ज़रूरत थी और बहुत सारे लोग इसका इंतज़ार कर रहे थे जिसके थ्रू वो अपने लिव इन पार्टनर को ढूंढ पाए. बिकॉज शादी एक काफ़ी बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है जिसको हर कोई लेने को तैयार नहीं है. बिकॉज हर कोई अपने करियर में ग्रो कर रहा है और ग्रो करना चाहता है तो उसके लिए थोड़ा सा टाइम लगता है सेटल होने में, यू नो, फिनेंशियली एंड यू नो दैट वे. सो अगर आप शादी से पहले इफ़ यू आर लिव इन तो यू कैन गेट ऑल दोज इमोशनल एंड फिनेंशियल सपोर्ट.
मैं खुद आया हूँ.
अरे बेटा, ये क्रिकेटर्स का ड्रेसिंग रूम है, यहाँ बच्चे अलाउड नहीं है.
जाओ बेटा जाओ, अपने मम्मी डैडी के पास जाओ, वहाँ जाके मैच देखो जाओ. ओए अंकल, मैं क्रिकेट देखता नहीं हूँ, मैं क्रिकेट खेलता हूँ.
अच्छा, क्या करते हो वहाँ पे?
मैं इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम में स्पिन बॉलर हूँ.
अबे, तो उल्टी स्पिन मार रहा है. तुम्हारा नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम है अक्षर किटेल.
अबे छोटी, ये तो वही है. ओ, और मुझे लगा कि मैं छोटे हूँ. अबे यार, इसके बारे में मुझे कुछ मालूम नहीं, तो उसको पूछूं क्या मैं?
तू टेंशन मत ले, मैं इससे बात करता हूँ. अच्छा अक्षर, तुम जब बॉल डालते हो तो तुम्हारी बॉल बैट्समैन तक पहुंच जाती है? अच्छा, जब तुम एम्पायर को अपील करते हो तो तुम्हारी आवाज सुन लेता है? क्या बोल रहे हैं आप?
अरे इतने बड़े मैदान में कैप्टन तुमको ढूंढ कैसे लेता है?
आप लोग मेरा मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं.
अरे छोटे, ये तो गुस्सा हो गया.
लगता है पक्का खिलाड़ी. देखिए, मैं इंडियन टीम का एक इम्पोर्टेंट प्लेयर हूँ. अगर आपको सीरियस सवाल पूछना है क्रिकेटिंग के बारे में तो पूछे, वरना मैं चला जाऊंगा. अरे तो नाराज हो गए. अरे टेंशन मत लीजिए, हम आपसे एकदम इम्पोर्टेंट सवाल पूछते हैं. ठीक है, अभी इम्पोर्टेंट सवाल पूछूं? यस, इम्पोर्टेंट.
So we're talking about becoming familiar with a different state of consciousness. Not that that has never been there. It's always been there because it's the I, but it's always been overlooked. because the circumstances, things that happen to you and your thinking and your emotions have such overwhelming pulling force that they always pull your attention in completely. And so attention is that which is there when you're truly listening. And in the moment of attention, there's no thinking, but there is an aware presence. So, the answer that you gave is absolutely right. Not everybody would have put it this way, but listening points to who you truly are. Underneath all the things that continuously change. Now, I'd like you to, as we speak, this is not an intellectual discussion, because if this were intellectual, you should have gone to a professor of philosophy or some intellectual at a university. And ultimately, you get many answers, but all those answers will always make you end up with more questions. Because they don't get you to the core of who you are. So let's start off with that. And what we are pointing to is a sense of I, of beingness, that is deeper than anything that happens in your life. It's always there, it's always been there. And that is closely related to the state of attentive listening, to get in touch with it, to sense it. Underneath it all, there is a timeless presence. Even in 50 years' time, in 60 years' time, when this body is getting old, and this body, the cells, it won't be the same body. The cells of the body will have been renewed many times. There won't be a single cell.
महेश जी, आप जब भी हमारे संघ में आते हैं कोई असाइनमेंट देते हैं, तो इस बार हम सबके लिए, हमारे दर्शकों के लिए क्या है असाइनमेंट?
असाइनमेंट सबसे बड़ा ये है कि सोने से पहले थोड़ी देर, जो अक्सर शायद पहले भी हमारी चर्चा हुई है और कुछ लोगों ने कहा हमने किया और नहीं किया, कि सोने से पहले 15 मिनट बिल्कुल शांत मन से, यदि प्रकृति को निहार सके, आकाश को निहार सके, या किसी दिए की लौ के आगे अपने को टिका सके, मन को एकाग्र करने की। अभी इसमें भी कहा गया था ना कि एकाग्रता का नाम है, तो कैसे आप अपने को टिकाएंगे? तो सबसे बड़ा है कि आकाश का अवलोकन करें, क्योंकि आकाश एक विराट है। अगर देख सकें, चंद्रमा है देखने का, उसको आप देखिए, कर देख सकते हैं तो चंद्रमा पर 15 मिनट ध्यान लगाइए, अगर चंद्रमा है तो। नहीं है तो दिए की लौ तो घंटे में सब जगह मिलती है ना। तो सोने से पहले 15 मिनट बैठना है, सिर्फ 15 मिनट शांत मन से। और इससे पहले एक असाइनमेंट और दिया कि भोजन एकांत में करना है। तो 2 चीजें हो गई एकांत की। आधे घंटे का असाइनमेंट है 24 घंटे में से, बिल्कुल। और मन को ये एकाग्र करेगा। औषधि है, सेवन करेंगे तभी तो पता लगेगा।
बिल्कुल, मन की एकाग्रता।
Now comes the next mystery. What kind of planet is Kepler 22b? What is it made of? The key to a planet's composition is its size. When planets form, they start off solid, made of rock and ice. If they become big enough, they're able to hold on to huge amounts of gas. hydrogen and helium the most abundant. These become the gas giants, like Jupiter and Neptune. Smaller planets like Earth are primarily rocky and can only hold on to a thin atmosphere. Kepler-22b is in the middle, bigger than all the rocky planets in our system, but smaller than the gas giants. So is it mainly gas or rock?
Interestingly, it should be noted that in the 1930s, when the American Medical Association was testifying to Congress about what the uses of marijuana are or cannabis as they like to call it, for medical purposes, the doctor testified to Congress that cannabis was very useful for helping to bring memories back in psychotherapy, or what's called repressed or lost memories. And the doctor who testified to Congress said that this would be an invaluable tool that was being used in psychotherapy to bring back forgotten memories. So that's something that you might.
I was always looking for something in between, something that linked that remote past with the present moment. And I found, to my amazement, it is alchemy. It is the basis of our modern way of perceiving things. And therefore, it is as if it were right under the threshold of consciousness. This is a wonderful picture of how the development of archetypes, that means the movement of archetypes, looks, when you look upon them as a form of art, maybe from today you look back into the past and you see how the present moment has evolved out of the past. And we can construct or even predict our the unconscious of our days when we know what it has been yesterday.
there and there and there. Until it won't be long, 30 days is certainly enough, that you'll be walking around feeling like the most blessed being, because everywhere you turn, someone, something, some circumstance or event or some other person, some coincidence, some coming together, some collective co-creation will occur. And you will be the center of it, the object of it, the recipient of something that feels really good to you. And in the beginning, it might just be an uplifted heart. It might be a new idea that just feels really good. It might be a comment from someone unexpected. It might be a smile from a stranger across the way. It might be a telephone call. It might be a winning lottery number. It depends upon what you want and where you are. But it is our promise to you that if you will begin to tend to the frequency of that which is you, since you equal your point of attraction, and you will be aware, I felt this way and this came back. I felt this way and this came back. I felt this way and this came back. Before you know it, you will be one who, whether you deliberately and often feel on purpose, you will know for sure that how you feel is your indicator of what's coming next.
It is a tool that is in no way necessary for your spiritual expansion and for spiritual awareness. It is a tool that can enhance your spiritual awareness and spiritual practice, but it should in no way be a replacement for the organic experience of naturally increasing your level of self-awareness and organically experiencing spirituality as a result of altering your consciousness intentionally. And as a side note, you don't have to ingest pot in order to learn from its beneficial teachings. After all, you don't have to smoke meat to learn from me, do you? Have a good week.
তবে নাটকটাকে ডুবিয়ে ফিল্ম করার কথা ভাবছিলাম না কিন্তু।
দেখ অরিন্দম, ফিল্মের একটা গ্ল্যামার আছে জানি, কিন্তু তার সঙ্গে আর্টের কোনো সম্পর্ক নেই, থাকতে পারে না। বিশেষ করে ফিল্মের অভিনেতার কোনো সাস্টেন কন্ট্রিবিউশন বলে কিছু থাকতে পারে না, ইম্পসিবল। আমি জেনে বলছি, না জেনে নয়। ফিল্ম নিয়ে বিস্তর পড়াশোনা করা আছে আমার। A film actor is nothing but a puppet, পুতুল। পরিচালকের হাতে সে পুতুল, ক্যামেরাম্যানের হাতে সে পুতুল, সাউন্ড রেকর্ডিস্টের হাতে সে পুতুল, আর যিনি কাঁচে দিয়ে ছবি কাটবেন আর কেটে জুড়বেন তার হাতে সে পুতুল। আর একটা কথা, মঞ্চের অভিনেতার যেটা আসল সোর্স অফ ইন্সপিরেশন দর্শক। ফুটলাইটসের পিছনে ওই কালো কালো মাথাগুলো যে দেখিস, যার থেকে তো এনার্জিটা আসে, তোর প্রেরণাটা আসে, সেটাকে বাদ দিলে অ্যাক্টিং এর যেটা আসল থ্রিল সেটা থাকে ফিল্মে, সেটা কোথায়? মোট কিসের জন্য? টাকার জন্য? তোর সাকসেস হতে পারেন আমি বলছি না, তোর চেহারা আছে, তোর গলা আছে, হতেও পারে। একটা কথা থেকে ভাবা দরকার, ফিল্মে একটা ব্যবসার দিক আছে, সেটা বেজায় নাস্তি। সেটা কেবল সাপ্লাই ডিমান্ডের খেলা। তোর পরপর দুটো ছবি লেগে গেল, তুই তত্তর উপরে উঠে গেলি। তারপর তোর 3 নম্বর মার খেলো, 4 নম্বর মার খেলো। তুই দেখলি যে সিঁড়ি দিয়ে তুই উঠেছিলি সেটা যেন তোকে সরিয়ে নিয়ে গেছে। তারপর তোকে দিলে এক ঠেলা, তুই সেই যে মুখ থুবড়ে নিচে পড়লি, আর তোকে উঠতে হলো না। একেবারে ফিনিশড ফর অল টাইম, বুঝলি?
এই হলো সব কথা। অবশ্য কথাটা যে খুব ভুল বলেছিলেন তা নয়,
কিন্তু আপনার বেলায় সেটা খাটেনি।
সেবারে पोस्ट विद्यम थिएटर हलो।
एक बात और निकलती है कि अगर घर घर में या घर घर में नहीं, या जैसे कि पहले रेडियो जब आया था तो मोहल्लों में लोग देखा करते थे, अगर वीडियो इसी तरह जगह जगह पहुंच जाए और लोग देखेंगे तो असर तो जरूर होगा। फिल्मों का असर या टेलीविजन का असर तो लोगों के ऊपर बहुत होता है। अभी हमने क्लिप देखी, इसमें काफी शशि कपूर हैं, आप हैं, काफी अपना हो रही है, झगड़ा हो रहा है। अब अगर ऐसी फिल्में मोहल्ले मोहल्ले में, घर घर में चली गई, जो कि हो सकता है जब वीडियो भी आएगा, तो उनका असर बच्चों के ऊपर क्या होगा? क्योंकि आप तो 3 तो ना कहिए, इस वक्त 2 बच्चों की बात वहां से लेके चलते हैं कि बच्चों के ऊपर तो असर बहुत होगा। क्योंकि देखिए, रोमांस जब होता था फिल्मों में तो हर कॉलेज जाने वाला लड़का या लड़की वही डायलॉग दोहराया करते थे। मुझे अपने कॉलेज के दिन याद है, अगर कोई मैसेज वाली फिल्म होती थी तो मैसेज का गाना गाए चले जा रहे हैं कोरस के तौर पे। अब ये मार कुटाई है। अच्छा, आप लोग तो स्टंट करते हैं, आपने, अगर आप खुद करते हैं, जो कि मैं समझता हूँ आप खुद काफी करते हैं, लेकिन आपने ट्रेनिंग ले रखी, लेकिन दूसरे लोगों ने तो ट्रेनिंग नहीं ले रखी। तो अगर वो इनमें हिस्सा बताना शुरू कर दें तो काफी।
देखिए, वायलेंस Major media destroy information. If we had a mainstream media that even vaguely associated itself with the true meaning of the word journalism, none of this would be possible. But the same people that control the politicians own the media. And so the media is not there, just like governments, to serve the interests and inform the people. It is there to tell the people what those who own the media want them to believe.
They see this content.
Where are we here? What is this universe? I mean, why are we here? And then we leave. And even then we don't understand, and we keep fighting all fucking our life to each other. What are you gonna take with you? Shit?
This is so important to a scientist is because for 300 years, our science has been based on two false assumptions. The first false assumption is that everything is separate from everything else. That what happens in one place has no effect on what happens anywhere else. And if it looks like it does, it's only a coincidence. The second false assumption is that our inner experiences of thought, feeling, emotion, and belief have no effect on the world beyond our bodies. Based on those two false assumptions that have been accepted for 300 years by scientists, I can see why there would be a disconnect when they're looking at magnetic fields of the Earth spiking precisely the moment the human emotion of the planet is focused on a disaster.
I understood suddenly how thought was just an illusory thing, and how thought is responsible for, if not all, most of the suffering we experience. And then I suddenly felt like I was looking at these thoughts from another perspective, and I wondered, who is it that's aware that I'm thinking? And suddenly I was thrown into this expansive, amazing feeling of freedom from myself, from my problems. I saw that I was bigger than what I do. I was bigger than my body. I was everything and everyone. I was no longer a fragment of the universe. I was the universe. And ever since that day, I've been trying to get back there. It comes and it goes. It's like riding a wave.
The whole world is mine. The whole world is mine. Why I should be rude? Why I should be rude by few minds?
One more tip too. Let's say that you aren't a good writer, you can't write. That's okay. You know, you can always write it yourself and then have someone else proofread it and revise it for you. That is an option as well. And you can do that quickly, by the way, fast. But another option as well, and I've done this with a book too, is you can use a dictation software. Meaning, if you can just basically speak, a chapter and just exactly what I'm doing right now, just speaking to a camera or whatever, or speak to your phone and record it, speak to your computer and record.
Yeah, so first chapter, medium. Well, everything on this planet is medium. Whether it's a plant or animal or you. Even clouds, the grass, the earth, the fire, the water, the wind. Everything is a medium. Now, how exactly these mediums work together? What is the best way? What is the right way? Anyone? Yes, you have to make relationship. Mediums work together when there is a relationship among them. More you'll have better relationship with any medium in life. I would like to clear here what is the meaning of relationship in this context. It means that when you appreciate that medium, again repeating, whether it's a plant, human being, animal, the reason behind why bad things are going fast in life and why bad people are not getting punished is bad people doesn't have any fear. That's why they don't create that energy and nothing really happens to them. But just below the high class, in middle, people create that energy.
Principles that are involved in being able to reach higher and higher and higher levels of awareness, so that things like miracles and being able to attract into your life what has been missing up until now, the ability to heal yourself of perhaps diseases or processes of difficulty that you've never been able to handle before, the capacity to be able to create the kind of relationship that you would like to have, the ability to even get a job that perhaps you haven't been able to get, or to raise your level of prosperity, whatever it might be, to sell your home if you've been having difficulty doing that. That there is an energy in the universe. There is something that is in each and every one of us. And it's also in the universe. And you are connected to it in a way that is often perceived to be aloof from us, because it's invisible, because it's in the world of what we call spirit, the world that is not material. And I would like to suggest that you suspend your disbelief, allow yourself to know that you're not a human being here having a spiritual experience, but that it's the other way around, that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And the quality of your human experience is really much more dependent upon how you use this invisible intelligence and how you connect to this energy. And once you have an awareness that you can never be separate from it, that you and it, and whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you call it God, if you call it divine presence, if you call it soul, if you call it spirit, if you call it consciousness, if you call it Christ consciousness, you can call it Buddha consciousness, you can call it Louise, you can call it Edna, you can call it Ralph. Alan Watts once said that you can't get wet from the word water.
People are looking forward to terrible things happening, and probably films like 2012 don't help. There's a lot of fear out there.
Some people have got this idea things will stop, things will end a catastrophe, but actually none of the philosophy is saying that. They're saying it's the beginning of something new.
More than before, love them to the core, say truth like liner, it's time for more, so wake up the king in you, so wake up the king in you, oh, oh.
कुछ लोग हैं जो मुझे पसंद करते हैं, कहते हैं आप एक्टिंग बहुत नेचुरल करते हैं, और कुछ लोग हैं कहते हैं कि आप एक्टिंग करते नहीं, थिएटर में देखिए। तो अभी भी डिवाइडेड ओपिनियन है, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं। मैं अपने जहाँ पर अपने पर डटा रहूँगा, यही करता रहूँगा। तो इससे क्या कहते हैं, नो एक्टिंग नहीं करते, लिविंग करो।
Contemplate yourself as surrounded by the conditions which you wish to produce.
Understand the sign of universe in each scene of your life. Say you had 5 scene in your life today, so try to see what is the scene, what is the sign universe is giving you in that scene. That may be leading to a bigger event, bigger scene in your life. More and more you start understanding this whole phenomena called synchronicity, you'll be able to reach where you really want to reach, where you really want to go in life, what you really want to achieve. And everything can be done in your scene by, I mean, this can be controlled by your own by your own choices in life. You know, more and more you make right choices, it will make coming scene and synchronicity will work, and it give the universe will, you know, giving you a sign about things. And yeah, like you will achieve, you will get to know, you'll be able to understand whether I'm going on right track or not. You know, going on right track for the job, for the business, for the girl you want, for anything you really want to achieve in life. So see the sign in each scene of your life. इंग्लिश मेरी टाइट होंडा हूँ मैं देसी है इंग्लिश मेरी टाइट लड़कियाँ दीवानी मेरी फ्यूचर मेरा ब्राइट लड़कियाँ दीवानी मेरी फ्यूचर मेरा ब्राइट होंडा हूँ मैं देसी है इंग्लिश मेरी टाइट लड़कियाँ दीवानी मेरी फ्यूचर मेरा ब्राइट होंडा हूँ मैं देसी है इंग्लिश मेरी टाइट लड़कियाँ दीवानी मेरी फ्यूचर मेरा ब्राइट Oh yeah. कॉर्पोरेट का कुत्ता बन के क्यों जिंदगी बिताएं आखिर कब तक हिलाएं और सो जाएं डेमोक्रेसी के नाम पे नौकर हमें बनाया डेमोक्रेसी के नाम पे नौकर हमें बनाया सरकारी जब कम पड़े तो प्राइवेट में घुसवाया सरकारी जब कम पड़े तो प्राइवेट में घुसवाया नौकरी को लात मारी बन गया बिजनेसमैन नौकरी को लात मारी बन गया बिजनेसमैन बिलियनियर स्टाइल मेरा नोट बने हैं मेरे फैन बिलियनियर स्टाइल मेरा नोट बने हैं मेरे फैन The real meaning of democracy is people's rule. In 1947, when India got freedom, Indian ministers adopted the same British constitution and ruled India again in the name of democracy. Democracy. You get it, right? Democracy. होंडा हूँ मैं देसी है इंग्लिश मेरी टाइट लड़कियाँ दीवानी मेरी फ्यूचर मेरा ब्राइट होंडा हूँ मैं देसी है इंग्लिश मेरी टाइट लड़कियाँ दीवानी मेरी फ्यूचर मेरा ब्राइट एडिसन की लॉटरी लग गई इन्वेंटर के लाइट एडिसन की लॉटरी लग गई इन्वेंटर के लाइट I believe one good idea can kickstart your life. I believe one good idea can kickstart your life. Come on. Get it. All right. Don't buy scheme of lifetime slavery system and get stuck in college, job, marriage and retirement. You are here for something very special. Chase your dream and get everything you want. You are here to live your life like a hero.